We often long for love, but when it finally appears, something deep within us begins to resist. Instead of opening up, we create distance, even if the person in front of us feels safe and kind. This reaction confuses us. We say we want closeness, but we pull away when it comes. The truth is, love is not just beautiful, it is vulnerable. It invites us to be seen fully, without masks. And that, for many, is terrifying. The psyche builds defenses to protect us. These defenses are old. They were formed in childhood when love sometimes hurt, when caregivers were absent, critical, or unpredictable. The mind remembers, and it associates deep connection with danger. So when real intimacy comes near, the body reacts. It whispers, "This is unsafe," even if everything seems perfect on the surface. We don't run from love, we run from the pain that love might trigger. True love challenges the ego. The ego wants control, pride, and independence. Love asks for surrender. It asks us to admit that we need someone, that we can't do it all alone. That's a hard truth for the ego to accept. So it resists. It finds excuses. It pushes away. But underneath the resistance is fear, the fear of being hurt, of being abandoned, of being seen, and then rejected. According to Jung, when we fall in love, we often fall for our own projection. A man sees his anima in a woman. A woman sees her animus in a man. This projection creates a dream, an illusion of perfection. But no one can live up to a fantasy. When the real person starts to emerge, the projection fades, and that shift can feel like a loss. The love is still there, but now it asks us to love consciously, not just emotionally. Another layer of fear comes from the belief that we are not enough. Deep inside, many carry a hidden shame, a voice that says, "If they really knew me, they'd leave." So we hide, we perform. We push away those who get too close. Not because we don't care, but because we care too much. The fear of not being enough becomes the wall that blocks intimacy. There's also the fear of change. Love transforms us. It brings buried wounds to the surface. It challenges our habits, our patterns, our identity. And change, even when it's good, feels like death to the old self. The soul wants to grow, but the ego clings to what is familiar. That tension creates inner conflict. And so, we may sabotage love not out of cruelty, but out of survival. And finally, the fear of love is not a flaw, it is a doorway. A sign that we are touching something real. Jung taught that true healing begins when we turn toward the fear, not away from it. When we allow ourselves to feel, to stay, to soften. Love does not require perfection. It only requires presence. And in that presence, the soul begins to remember who it truly is: whole, worthy, and deeply lovable. When you begin to notice your own defenses in love, not as failures, but as messages, you step into deep awareness. The fear that rises is not meant to be judged, but listened to. Maybe it's the voice of a younger version of you, the one who was once left behind, or misunderstood, or made to feel too much. That younger self doesn't need to be silenced. It needs to be held, because behind the fear of love is the longing for safety. And sometimes the soul simply doesn't believe it's safe to be seen. The work of healing begins with slowing down, with noticing when you want to run and asking gently, "What part of me is scared right now?" Love becomes an invitation, not to escape the self, but to meet it more honestly. True intimacy is not about perfection. It's about being able to say, "I'm scared, but I'm still here." That moment of truth, however small, becomes a bridge between two souls. Not through performance, but through presence. Jung believed that the path to wholeness is not about removing fear, but integrating it. That means we make space for the fear, and still choose connection. We notice the old story, and still choose a new response. The ego may whisper, protect yourself. But the self whispers, stay open. In this way, every experience of love, whether it lasts a lifetime or a season, becomes part of your growth. A mirror, a teacher, a chance to know yourself more deeply. And yes, you may still fear love. You may still want to run. But now you'll know why. You'll see the pattern. You'll feel the impulse and then breathe through it. Because love isn't a thing you chase. It's a space you create inside. A space where your soul feels safe to unfold, to soften, to trust. Not blindly but wisely. So the next time someone offers you love, not the fantasy, but the real thing, raw and kind and quiet, pause. Breathe. Notice the urge to pull away. And instead of obeying it immediately, ask, what would happen if I stayed? If I allowed this moment to hold me? If I believed, just for now, that I am worthy of being loved as I am? Because you are. Even with the fear. Even with the doubt. You are worthy. Not when you become perfect, but now. Especially now. Jung reminds us that the light comes not through avoidance, but through confrontation. And maybe the greatest confrontation of all is to stand in front of love, trembling and not run. If this message touched something deep within you, take a moment to reflect and share this with someone who may need to hear it too. And if you're on a journey of healing, growth and self-awareness, you're not alone. Subscribe for more soulful insights inspired by Jung and the timeless wisdom of the human heart.